Sacrifice 2 to 4 years to become rich, and you'll never have to work a day in your life. So 2 to 4 years is enough not to become super rich, not to become balling out, not to become Warren Buffett. But if you do what I tell you to do in this video for 2 to 4 years, I can guarantee you, you will never have to work wage slavery jobs for the rest of your life. 2 to 4 years, if you are able to commit to 70 hours a week, right? Working either one job where you're making, slightly above minimum wage, and you're able to work another job, whether that's security, whether that's waiting tables, whether that's Uber Eats. If you do this for 2 to 4 years, right? And you're able to make between $60,000 and $80,000 a year, right? With the assumption that you are minimizing your expenses, you didn't have kids you can't afford, you don't have crazy car loans or student loans or excess, crazy outrageous car payments. If you do this, right, and you commit and you focus every single day on following the process, investing accordingly, you can position yourself to not have to work 2 jobs and not have to be a slave, essentially, right, for the rest of your life, right? Because according to the the Bureau of Labor of Statistics, 68% of Americans make individual workers, this is not household incomes, makes $50,000 a year or less. So a lot of people are not making a lot of money, right? Almost 70% of people, right? And that also coincides with 70% of Americans living paycheck to paycheck, right? So if you want to rise above that and become one of the few who are actually able to only work, ideally, one job or have a business where you're making a better income than having to kill yourself working 2 jobs, right? Then you need to follow what I'm going to tell you, right? And what I'm telling you is that if you sacrifice 2 to 4 years, right? Let's say you make $40,000 a year as like an assistant manager, like me. Like, I'm an assistant manager. I make about between 50 and 55 a year, depending on commission, right? If I work doing what I'm doing now, making an extra $300 to $400 a week, right? That's an extra $1,200 to $1,500 a year, right? So now, instead of making $55,000 a year, I'm making $68,000 a year, right? Now, not a huge difference, right? 68,000 to 55 is like, not really a big difference, right? But the difference is this, and this is the key. You need to invest the difference of what you make, right? So if let's say you make $55,000 a year, right? And your living expenses amounts to $45,000 a year, right? Well, now, okay, you have $10,000 left, right? So 1,000, give or take, 800, 900 left a month, right? To spend, right? So you can invest that money, right? Like into either an index fund and again, I'm not going to debate what to invest in, right? Pick something that has an annual rate of return that's between 5 and 10%, whether that's the S&P 500, whether that's Bitcoin, whether that's Ethereum, whether that's Tesla. Pick a few things that have an annual rate of return of between 5 and 10%. And again, this can change. Like, you don't have to invest in one thing. You can invest in a few things that are really good. Tech stocks are really great. They have great yield of percentage returns. I love tech stocks. I invest in Palantir. I invest in JOBY. I also have a few index funds. I invest in Ethereum. I invest in Solana, right? Like, I'm widely diversified as far as my investments. So what I plan to do is I'm obviously going to continue to, do Uber and stuff on the side, right? So that I have the income to invest, right? So I have that extra income to invest, right? And the way to do this, right, ideally, is to pick one job where you can have a future, right? Like, for example, I'm not saying everyone's going to be a vice president. I'm not saying everyone's going to be in like making a lot of money in like a corporate environment or a corporate job, right? But you should aim, if you're working, like, let's say you're working retail and you're you're trying to work your way up right? Increase your income in whatever main job you're doing. And then that second job that you're doing, like I said, that's whether that's waiting tables, whether that's Uber, whether that's security, right? I think those are the 3 best jobs for, I mean, I know moving companies, you can do like moving companies part-time and stuff. But I think those are the best 3 jobs. If you want to do like a second job, I think those are the best 3. And you do that over time. You do that for years and years. And I say 2 to 4 years. I don't know exactly, right? Because you guys have different expenses, you know, things come up, whatever. I'm just giving you guys, you know, basic guidelines, right? It might take you 2 years to achieve a certain amount of money or rate of return from your investment portfolio that you can now invest back into yourself, into a business, or maybe you cut back now on that second job because you've bought your time back, right? So technically what you're trying to do, if you're trying to transition into self-employment, is you want to make so much from your portfolio, from your investments, right, that you can quit the second job that you're doing so that you have the time now to use that to build your business, right? You don't want to have to work 2 jobs forever, right? Like that's a losing battle. What you ideally want to do is you want to stick to one job, right? Do your main job, increase the amount that you can make in your main job, right? Simultaneously work your second job, and simultaneously while you're doing all of these things, you're investing every month or every 2 weeks, whatever recurring investment strategy you want. You're doing that every 2 to 4 weeks, so that over time, right? Let's say, hey, for example, you're not seeing the type of growth you want in your main job. You have the investments and the money now, whether it's 3 to 4 years you've waited for a position, you didn't get it, to either quit, go do something that pays less, because now you have money. Now you can sit on some of the money that you've had from your returns, to where now you don't have to worry about working a job that's difficult or working a job that, you know, you don't really care about, right? Like, you want to have choice in life, guys. And you know, money is honestly one of the biggest things you need to have choice in life. I know that's like a hard thing for a lot of people to understand, and it's kind of like a sad reality. But if you don't have money, guys, you have no leverage in anything. You have no decision making. You're a slave. You are a slave by default. You have to show up somewhere regardless. You don't have a say. It doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter what you're going through, because guess what? You have to have shelter, right? You have to eat. So guys, I'm just giving you this is personally what I'm doing currently. And I think this is what a lot of you guys should start to do. And again, it sucks. Like, working 60, 70 hours a week, sometimes it sucks. Like, you know, even sometimes like Uber Eats is slow, Uber's slow. You know, you get people who cancel on you, or you know, sometimes it's slow. But at the end of the day, guys, you have to make shit happen. You got to make shit happen, right? And one thing that here's the difference. Here's why I like the 2-job approach to becoming wealthy. Because guess what? When you have a second job, right? The first job, you don't place so much importance on that first job, right? If that first job decides to promote someone else because of their skin color, or promote someone else because of favoritism, you can simply leave, right? You can go apply for another job, because guess what? You're working another job simultaneously. You're working. You don't have to sit there and stay. You don't have as much of a scarcity mindset as well. So that's another perk to having something else on the side, is like, you're not placing so much importance on that one source of income, right? And that's what you want. That's the best position to be in. You want to be in a leveraged position, right? So this is key to understand. And as far as like, you know, business goes, you have to work your way into it, and that takes a while, guys. It you know, even me, like, I'm early on in my YouTube journey. I know it's gonna take a while for me to build what I want to build here, right? And you know, it is what it is. But the whole point is for you to position yourself to be able to make choices, right? Because certain companies, like your job right now, it might go out of business, right? You might get laid off. Like my girlfriend, her mom, the company just got bought out, and they laid everyone off. So her mom just got laid off. Do you want to be in a position where you're laid off, right? You know, as AI continues to rise to the surface, certain jobs are going to go out. Do you want to be in that position, right? So guys, you have to take your money seriously. And I'm not trying to instill fear into you guys, but the world is changing, and you know, certain things are going to go out of date, right? There's going to be certain businesses that are not going to exist. So you have to take your money very seriously. Now, obviously there's more to life than money, right? Like human relationships, your health and stuff like that. I'm not saying you got to be a workaholic and, you know, completely neglect your health, neglect your girlfriend, neglect your family, but you have to take it seriously, right? And again, there's 168 hours in a week. So, you know, you sleep 8 of those hours, so you got 56 of those hours goes to sleep. So you still got 112 hours left. What are you doing with those 112 hours, right? You can work at least 60 of them, right? You can work at least 60 of them, at least 70 of them, right? So again, I want you guys to have leverage in the job market. I want you guys to have leverage and be able to say no to shit, right? Like, no, I won't do this. No, I don't have to do this, right? I honestly would argue that is one of the biggest things we desire as human beings, is the ability to say, no, I'm not fucking doing that shit. No, I'm not going to sit here and wait for this job to give me what I want, right? I'm going to go figure other shit out so that I don't have to deal with, you know, other people's decision makings. That's another thing too. You don't want to be at the whims of other people's decisions that may or may not benefit you, right? Like, it would be stupid for you to, let's say you want to become like a vice president or a director or a district manager in like Walmart or something, right? It would be stupid of you to sit there and just think, out of all the stores that are you know, in your area and all the employees, it would be stupid of you to place all your bets on earning the job title amongst all those other people. There's so many different variables. There's so many different factors that go into that. And again, you know, sadly, I hate to say this, but we don't live in such a we don't live in a meritocracy that much anymore. We live where we have DEI. We live where we favor women. We favor cliques. We favor people who are in social circles, right? We don't favor performance. We don't place importance as much on performance, because why? Humans are what? We're tribalistic, right? We don't want to promote someone that we may or may not trust, even if they're good, right? And again, that's a sad reality of corporate America, right? But you have to do what you have to do, right? You can't just sit there and expect a job to lean your way, right? Because sometimes it may or may not lean your way. Now, obviously, you want things to go your way, but you know, I always say, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. I'm always preparing for the worst. That's not to say I'm gonna manifest something that's bad, but I understand that not everything it revolves around me. Life doesn't revolve around me. People's decisions, people aren't always thinking about me. They don't have my best interests in mind. Your company, your job has the interests of their company and the cliques that they form in each company. Those are the people that get the promotions. Those are the people that get favored in whatever the company wants, right? So again, I'm not saying that's always the case, but I would argue it's a majority of the case, a majority of the time. So again, you have to prepare yourself. You have to work these extra hours. You have to invest so that you have leverage in decision making, right? And you can say, no, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not working this job anymore. No, I got passed up for a promotion 4 times. I'm not working this job anymore, right? So again, I'm not trying to instill fear in you guys or instill doubt, but you have to be in the driver's seat when it comes to your money. So anyways, guys, that's it. That's all. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe. If you guys have any questions, comments, feel free to leave them down below. And as always, I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.